The lunar matrix is another alien structure that transmits mind control programs into the Earth's magnetic field and perpetuates spiritually abusive belief systems into the subconscious layers of the masses. This originates from non-humans and is alien-based technology used to enforce the main goals of the archontic deception strategy. So the lunar matrix, of course, with the moon, Saturn moon matrix, we have to be able to override those programs. It doesn't make the moon evil, and it's not that it's all artificial. There's different octaves to every planetary, body. So when we move to the higher octave of the lunar energy, it connects us with Tiamat, it connects us with things previous, and just the more ancient energies of the mother, not this kind of artificial mind control satellite kind of thing. So higher octaves of the lunar energy are experienced through like the outer planets and the initiations that the outer planets give us. They connect us with our higher heightened intuition. And so what the energies of our artificial moon do is, a lot of the challenges that we experience as women, and a lot of the disconnect that men feel from their own inner feminine, because this is the patriarchal program. The Saturn moon matrix is basically the patriarchal program, and it's an alien agenda. So it has nothing to do with, oh, men, they've just been so controlling for so long. I mean, both men and women have been targeted. Men have had their limbs blown off in war. They've been taught to not cry, and, women have been largely, disempowered. So, and we're getting all that back. And it's the love story. It's the sacred union. It's the balance and harmony, and it's our energetic body. So this love story, when we really embrace the greater love story, I mean, think about what that does to our physical vessel and our energetic body and our chakra system and our DNA. I mean, that is where all this heals. And it's not about, the partner. So if one's single, it's like, oh, okay, and I mean, a lot of people do feel this desperation. Where's my soulmate? Is this my twin flame? I mean, we are built with this inner longing, this soul longing that literally gives us the gumption to kind of wake up and roll with it all. It's just kind of like we're being, it's a magnetic energy, attraction, soulmate energies. It's all the electric energies, the masculine, and the magnetic energies, the feminine, and the magnetic energy has been, like I said, targeted on this planet. Basically what they're trying to do is keep a true love situation from being successful. So relationships are targeted. And the programming that we're raised with sometimes doesn't make us seek soulmates. We end up with, abusers or narcissists or control freaks, or we're not emotionally got our heads together and might not be an easy partner. So, I mean, this is all what the greater picture is all about. And this is what's being targeted, so that we don't switch on our dormant DNA and we don't experience this greater love story, the Christ Sophia, coming together in our hearts and experiencing that with people that we meet in the world. And, so we walk around with broken hearts and frustrations, anxiety, lack of self-worth, and just a lot of pain. And yeah, we can't really advance ourselves when we're in that energy. So it's very, very important to get out of toxic and bad relationships, and join the Cosmic Gaia community and find like-minded people that might help you, through that kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's like a support group, but anyway, it's been really fun, and helpful, I think, to people, I hope. So anyway, we're going through like this breakup. Each one of us, has our own stories and versions, and how that plays into the larger picture, and how we experience it. I mean, we impact the collective consciousness when we begin to step up to the plate and make these kind of changes in our lives and recover our self-worth, to give us the just the motivation and just desire to just get out of toxic relationships, bad relationships with food, bad relationships with everything. I mean, we're kind of in a relationship with, so we want the healthiest partners, and the way we relate to society. We can cut ourselves off and divorce ourselves from the negative aspects of it and where it pulls us in, and how some of these projects have created such distortions and lies and deceptions in the media. We can divorce ourselves from that and enjoy things that are healthy for our minds. So we want to feed good food and good energy and good dynamics with our physical body, mental body, spiritual body, emotional body. We're elemental beings, and everything about the elements connects with the grid systems, right? So when we looked at this, you see water, air, earth, fire, and then we got the ether. So, and this corresponds to our DNA. Are the nucleic acids in our DNA are elemental. So our DNA connects with the earth grids. It's like a replica in a lot of ways, right? Well, not in a lot of ways, it actually is. The the connection that we have with the true tree of life, 12 spheres, which represent stargates on the planet. And now this 13th gate is something that, we're awakening within ourselves. So, and then we impact the planetary grid network when we do that work to connect with the organic elements of the original mother energy and her circulation and her true body and essence, planetary consciousness, planetary body. The rings of Saturn, according to David Icke, are a massive broadcast system broadcasting a fake reality. DNA holds all the information we will ever need to build and maintain the human body. Researchers at Boston University and Harvard Medical School studied the 98% of our DNA that remains unable to be decoded, and this is called trash DNA. So all this trash, these scrambled fire codes, are literally the distortions of the masculine and feminine and their electric and magnetic energies of us. So the fake reality is what they're, streaming through, that is a facade and it's false, while all this horrific stuff is happening behind the scenes, stealing the creative energy in order to be able to create the artificial timelines and the artificial reality. So it's pretty horrendous how successful they've been, and hard not to get bummed and angry every once, I think people can relate, and that's okay. We got to feel it to heal it. So anyway, the rings of Saturn, the Saturn moon matrix. I'm not going to really get into that. I have in previous presentations about, Saturn, but I touch upon it a little bit. But the rings of Saturn are connected with junk DNA, transmits energy to the moon, and affects us on an unconscious level and keeps this stuff scrambled. So between that and the reversal grids and how all that connects, it's just like feeding these demons and this satanic energy. Okay. So the Saturn has a black cube. It holds a massive tank that acts as a harvesting station for blood sacrifice from human beings in any way imaginable. So it's like energy's collected in these places, particularly, the Stonehenge area where the Nibirian diodic crystal technologies exist. And then we got the Nephilim reversal grid. It literally collects energy that it's stolen from humans through manipulation in keeping us in a very, very low state and sort of this kind of 3D and this sort of like major disconnect. And we're just, products of society in these subpersonalities. And it somehow is able to contain it in this black cube. So anyway, our capacity to clear ourselves of false tyrannical authority and not fall for the facades is how we expose crimes, against humanity. Because once, we clear this stuff, we're able to see who's who. We're in a truth frequency. We can see truth. We can see through lies and deception. We have to find that authentic truth within ourselves so that we can navigate this experience, right? So, so this dark element of Saturn, how we're experiencing it in this lower dimension, keeps us in this enslavement agenda. When we move out of that enslavement agenda and find our true self, we can begin to function in the higher dimensional levels of Saturn, which relate to self-mastery and having the capacity to be a teacher and adopting disciplines that actually help us to thrive and actually, serve us. So as long as we're kind of under this net though, and as long as we're being fed from, we're unknowingly participating in the satanic agenda and the reptilian alien agenda, the negative alien agendas. So this is part of the duality, right? I mean, we're moving out of the duality into the tree of life, out from the tree of knowledge to the tree of life, but it's going to take self-knowledge. And that's why things like astrology can really, really help us to get to know ourselves better. So artificial intelligence systems have been designed and weaponized, specialized for emotional and ultimately spiritual harassment. This is so that the emotional and spiritual energies get lowered to the level that a machine can entrain, follow, mimic, match, record, modify, and replicate that energetic blueprint. If our consciousness is above this and not in the programming, we aren't as impacted. So we have to understand that, like, yes, AI is a very, very scary concept, but is it so scary when we know what it requires in order for it to be successful? I mean, it's artificial. So it's mimicking true intelligence. It's mimicking things that are organic, right? So in order for it to be successful, it has to upset us to the point of being able to, I mean, our vibration has to be low enough for it to be able to mimic, match, record, modify, and replicate that energetic blueprint. And then it like kind of creates this false reality, or we find ourselves more in negative synchronicities, not the organic kind, where the magic and flow helps us to connect with soulmates and our visions and dreams are beginning to manifest. And instead it's sort of like we keep bumping our head against the wall, maybe meeting people that trigger our wounds and traumas, and things that we might buy into and believe, as we see people do, that are very much about the divide and conquer. Where people have toxic hatred and judgments. I mean, AI is all about that, totally, so this lower draconian energy and these things, these parasitic beings, that want to feed on us, require us to be in a very, very low vibration for the AI to even work, and for them to get that loosh, which represents, the negative energy that they're able to draw out of people. So it's kind of a nightmare seeing everybody wearing masks and the jab thing. That's very concerning. But as I'll describe in the end, I feel the override frequency and something bigger is happening that offsets that energy signature, that Luciferian satanic energy signature. So anyway, but every single person has the challenge of not getting caught in this AI, and avoiding transhumanism in the next level of this dark agenda is incredibly important. Of course, they're going to introduce it, make it sound like a good thing. And that is the total sabotage of the Aquarian age and what it really does represent.